API. The main difference between them is that the OCR is synchronous and the read is asynchronous. What that means is, by synchronity, it means it takes in, so when you upload a photo, because we say the OCR only works on photos, it has to process just that one page and then give you back results. But for the read API, if you upload like a PDF with many pages, it can be extracting data while still giving you feedback on the fights reached. So the OCR API also, like I've mentioned, it works on images only, and it has to have printed text. It doesn't perform well on handwritten photos unless you have like super good handwriting. But during the code, you'll see that. So for the read API, it performs equally good on all those three. So the OCR works region by region, and the read API works page by page. So the region by region, it means that it will first segment the whole photo into specific regions and then work on that region, the next. While the read API first reads the whole page and then works on that whole page, then goes to the next page. Yeah. So a demo of what we'll be doing. So this is the bot on Telegram with the command start. So to see how it works on images. So I'm using only the read API because it works on everything. My internet is so slow. Sorry. So yeah, the read API, this is the feedback I'm getting on printed. So for handwriting, recognition, this is just something I typed on my notepad. Yeah, you see, it's not really perfect, but it gets the job done. I think you could improve this further by making sure that the wordings are, what do we call that? NLP. Could improve this with NLP. So that's what we'll be building in this session. That was just a demo of what, if you haven't tried it out, you can try it out. You can try it out on this link, but yeah, I can give you the link at the end of the session. So yeah, that's pretty much the small presentation I had. So I want us to get right into the code because that's supposed to take like a while. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so this heavily relies on you having an Azure account. So once you log in, you're supposed to get to this portal. Ideally, you'll not have anything here. So to start, you come on Create Resource, and then you come and search for cognitive services here. Then you come to the first option, that's cognitive services. Then you create. So subscription by default, this is what you get if you signed up for the $200 credits. Resource group, you can have, you can always create a new one. Everything else, so I think this is the most important bit. You have to have a unique name for your bot. And the pricing tier is free. So other than that, I've left it. I left everything else at a default. But if this is not unique, it'll definitely tell you something is wrong. Oh yeah, wait, no. Sorry. So for identity tags and review and create, I did not change anything, but you can go in and check whether you want to change anything there. You can give it tags if you like, you have so many things you've deployed and you want to make it easy to search. So when, the name has to be, yes, the name has to be unique. So if it was not unique, it would have said, it would have refused to go through this part. Yeah, and then you just create. Then you'll be seeing your progress from here. This may take a while. Yeah, so when it's done, you can go to the resource. And it's supposed to come here, manage keys. So you need two important things. You need the key, any key can do, and you need your endpoint. So on your code, you have a .env. You're supposed to paste your endpoint. Your endpoint comes from here. You're supposed to paste your endpoint from there. And then your Azure service key is either of the keys that you copied. You can just click on this to copy. So that is the Azure bit. So I want to like finish the whole process of getting the keys first. So for you to get your bot, to create a bot on Telegram, you have to search the bot further. And that's what this check mark, because there's so many here. And then you start. Once you start the bot further, you say new bot / new bot. Then you give it a name. Yeah, then this has to be a unique username. Yeah, so if this is unique, it's gonna accept, and you're supposed to take this token, access token, you copy it, and then put that here. Your Telegram token goes there. I'm gonna delete this because this session is being recorded. You can see I have two bots, the one that's running and the one that I've just made. Yeah, so that covers the bit on getting your environmental keys. So the next bit will go to our main.py. I'll first import my OS. I'll be using this to get my env variables. Env variables are these ones. Oh yeah, so maybe I should take you the dependencies first. So these are my dependencies for this specific project. So Pillow is used for image manipulation. Matplotlib, I'll be using this to plot bounding boxes on whatever we've extracted. Python.env. Python env is used to access this file in environment. Flask could be used to make an endpoint to our system, to our API, the Azure API, so that we can query it. And then Telegram, this enables us to interact with Telegram from Python. And this imports our Azure computer vision client that will be used to interact with the key and the endpoint that we've just gotten from Azure. And then the request, we'll be using this to request Telegram for our images. When the user uploads an image, we want to be able to ask Telegram for that image, then process it, then give the user feedback on the text that's on that image. So import, I've imported OS that will help me get to the .env. This is inbuilt. Time is also inbuilt. So Pillow is imported as pill. So I'll be importing the image and the image draw. Matplotlib for drawing the bounding boxes. And I'll be using this to interact with Azure. And now this loads the env file that we have, and this calls it now. So for a start, I want to first start with the environmental variables for the Azure. So we named this cog service endpoint, and this has to be exactly the same. And this is cog service key. This has to be exactly the same. I know you're wondering why I've commented this out. I've pasted my real ones down below because I don't want to expose them, because this session is recorded and I don't want to like redo the whole thing. But you should comment this out ideally. So if I comment this out, it's conflicting because it's duplicate for me. But this is how it's supposed to be. Like for you, you just paste those things here. So yeah, after that, I'm supposed to authenticate the computer vision client. So we'll be filling this function that uses the OCR API and this function that will be using the read API. And for a start, these functions have nothing. They just print the file path of the file that's passed. So I have this function that for now, before we get to Telegram, I'll be asking the user for prompts from the command line. So when they press 1, yeah, so maybe I should take you through the files first. So in my files, I have an abc.png. This is the one that I uploaded that time. This is an image of the book Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. And this is the handwritten one that I just wrote this on my notepad. And I also have a PDF. It won't open here. Okay. Yeah, so it's just like some text. So before it gets to interacting with Telegram, for now, just be asking the user to enter a number. And if they say 1, I will be using the abc.png. If they say 2, I'll be using the story.pdf. If they say 3, I'll be using worms.png. So let me first activate my virtual environment. I haven't covered that in this session because it's beyond the scope. Yeah, so I'm just asking for user input from the command line. They choose, I process that image. Yeah, so to get started with the OCR API, so this is the full code. I'll just take you through it because there's not enough time to just keep going through line by line. For me, let's start. Yeah, like that. So the OCR API, I told you it works region by region, number 1. It also doesn't work very well on handwritten. So for a start, you can see here I'm passing in the file. When I called this here, like for example, if the user chose 1, we'll be working with the abc.png because that's the one that I've passed here. So the first thing I do is look at that file that I've just passed in, and then the CV client is what we authenticated here. So we're already interacting with Azure at this point. So then I pass that image to Azure, and then it's supposed to give me back results of what it has done to the text that has been extracted on that image. Then from here, I'm just like making a blank canvas using matplotlib and then drawing the image that we have. So to make sure I'm able to draw the bounding boxes, the API that the OCR API gives back the coordinates of what was extracted. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm just going over the region by region. So it gives regions, many like an array of regions. So in that region, it also breaks it down to line by line. Then I map that and draw circles around it. And then because I want to like give a structured data back to the user, I just append every line that we have on that image into this list. And so that means if this list is empty, the OCR API either did not find any text, or whatever text was found, it could not decode it. And then, so if the length is 0, that if the length is greater than 0, that means we found something in that image. I plot that image on matplotlib, and then I save it on my local machine into OCR results. As you can see, I don't have that folder yet. So if the folder does not exist, I first make it, then I save that image there. So in the event the user did not, the images did not have any text that the OCR could extract, I'm just printing there was no OCR text on that specific file. So going back to our code, our terminal, sorry. If I use the OCR API, yeah. So if I use the OCR API, it worked on this is the original, and this is now the saved. So this is what the OCR API was able to extract. You can see it was not even able to like get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, the numbers basically. So we can try it on others. So you just come here and change whatever you want. And you have the 3 things now. Yeah, so this is the original, the handwritten one. This is what it was able to extract, which is not even sure it's anything that makes sense. You can see it wasn't even able to see the W or the J. I'm sorry, I have poor handwriting. So maybe this will work if it's somebody who has a really nice handwriting, but that's one of the main limitations of this API. So next, I will go to the Superman, the read API. So this one, like we've mentioned, it works on handwritten, it works on PDFs, it works on printed. It also works on printed. Oh, sorry. Let me format my code. Yes, it will throw errors. Yeah. So going over the read API, we open, we get that image, that specific image. So we get that specific image and then pass it to the Azure client, but this time we're using the reading stream. Like I mentioned, this is an asynchronous operation. That means you have to like, before the whole thing is done, you have to like wait because it works on page by page. So that's why I've initialized this while true. So this will run and it will only break if the operation is successful. So we have four codes for this operation. It's either running, it's either not started, it's either successful, or it's either failed. So I want this to break when we are not running and when started is like we are done. So because of this keeps running and keeps checking whether we have results from this. Yes, whether we have results from this. So the client, the Azure client, once you give it the image or you give it the PDF, it has headers, and those headers I'm storing them in the read op. And so I keep checking whether this specific file that you're processing, it has finished. Once it has finished, we can get out of this while loop. Otherwise, it will keep running until that process is either successful or it's failed. So once the process is successful, because it works on page by page, that's why I'm looping through all the results that I get, each page, and then now each page has lines. So yeah, and then this line, every line that I extract, just appending that to results, which is empty. I have initialized it as empty to begin with. And then, yeah, I just return the results. That's pretty much it. So to run this on our handy function, so we have to either do 2 or 3 because that's where I've called this. So the first one will work on the PDF, the other one will work on the handwritten. You can change this, you can use any. Yeah, so this worked on our story. This is our story for people who just joined us. And this is what we got. Yeah. So that works on PDFs. So maybe it on the handwritten one. So it's trying, but it's not perfect. So that basically covers the Azure bit. We have those 2 functions, and with these 2 functions, you can be able to use OCR and read. So now what we want is, instead of the user having to manually type on a command line, we want to be able to take this code and interface it with Telegram. So for that, I've done that in the app.py. So I'll just take you through the boilerplate code first. Maybe you can start here. I already showed you how to add your env from Telegram. So this is reading in that. Yeah. So request, I'll be using the request library to get the images from Telegram. Flask will be used to make an endpoint that you can now use either in your web app or in your Android or whatever you want to work on. But this specific case, I've used Telegram. And now this is the Telegram library that I've used to interact with Telegram directly. So the updater is like, it gives you updates on what the user is, what's happening on Telegram. And the message handler, you're able to use that to like give messages to the user. For filters, you're able to filter out the content the user is giving. Like for example, on our Telegram, you can see if I just send like a text, it's going to tell me, please upload an image, because I'm filtering to make sure I just want my code to continue only when we have an image. Yeah. So yeah, and this is the endpoint that I have. This is how you initialize a Flask. So you initialize a Flask app, and I have a basic root, a get root that's just the default for the local. So for now, what I have is I've initialized the start. This is the code you see when you type start to the bot. So you can change this to whatever you want. Yeah, and when anything is uploaded, it's going to say uploading to Telegram. So let me start that. So as you can see, we have a problem. It's because when I imported our functions from the main. The main one that we want is the read API because it works on everything. But because I'm importing this whole function and I'm still calling the user input, once I pass this on to this Python file, this code still runs. That's why on the, what do you call this? The terminal. Yes, on the terminal, we are getting this. So for that, I need to make sure that I comment this out. So going back to our app.py, if we run Flask now, you can see we don't get that. So let me stop my other one. So I've stopped the other one. Yeah, let me first change something so that it can look like it's working. So I don't know. So the biggest issues I'm having with running Flask is that every time I start it, I can't quit. Even if it says Control C, it never quits for some reason. So I have like a hack to do that. I have to keep doing this all the time. Then I have to like repeat the whole process of starting an env, setting my Flask up, and then running Flask again. But before I run that, I want to change some things here that we can know we are working with this specific code on my local. Yeah, so when I run Flask like that, and I start my Telegram bot, now it should change to this. Yeah, demo time. Oh, there are people in the meeting. So that's changed to demo time. So now I also wrote some code to upload this, to extract the text from image. Right now, if you upload anything, it's just gonna print uploading to Telegram because we haven't yet added the bit for it to actually process the image that we send to Telegram. Now that's the bit we are working on in this section. As you can see in my, yeah, it's just said uploading to Telegram. So let me paste in the code for that. Yeah, so now we want to be able to handle what the user uploads. And going back here, this is the dispatcher. This is okay. So this dispatcher is what, once you type start, this is what calls this function, this start function, and then Telegram says whatever text you want it to say when somebody starts the bot. So now we want to add another one such that whenever an image is passed, we want to be able to call extract text from Telegram, this function that we are working on right now. And to do that, we need to make sure, so we pass in this filters.all. This helps us with knowing what kind of message the user has given. So if you come here, I want to first of all make sure that the message I am very much interested in is a photo. If you are to look at the documentation, you'll see that .message.type here for if it was a PDF to be document, if it was a text, it will be just text. So I want to make sure that this, I'm only working with photos for this one. And then I'll be populating this variable later on of the file name of the image you're currently processing. So whenever it's an we have made sure we have a photo, we continue with the code. But if we do not have a photo, we say we tell the user, now we reply to that text. We tell the user, please upload an image with text. Yeah, upload the image with text. So let me first explain the code, then we can test it, because there's that whole hack of killing my terminal. So for a start, so this whatever we get, the image that we get from the user, it has a file ID, and that unique file ID is what I want to use to download that image to my local server and then process it, then give back the user feedback on what is happening. So whenever the user uploads and we have made sure it's a photo, I tell them we are processing, just to like make them be patient. And then using my Telegram token, this is coming from my env here, which is also what we put in here. So you have to use the Telegram token to be able to work with Telegram, because that is how it identifies that it is your specific bot. It's like your unique identifier. So with your Telegram token and this file ID we've gotten from that image the user gave us, we're able to extract an image path, and this is what the final looks like. So here I'm just using the request library to get the path that I'm getting from Telegram, and then to get the response in JSON, and then I iterate over it and get the actual image path, which looks like this. Here I was just printing to make sure I'm getting the right thing. So once I have this, then to get the specific file image, you always have to have your Telegram token, and then you pass this here. Then with our file image, so now we want to be able to download this to our local storage and work on it. So next, I take the file, this whole string, and get that image, that specific image. And once I get that specific image, now I want to like structure a nice name for it, a unique name when I'm saving it to my file. So if you see the image path, this is what the image path looks like. So what this split does, I'm only getting this last bit, whatever is available after the slash, that's what I'm getting, and that's what I've called split image. And now to get the extension, which will be JPEG, PNG, I'm using pathlib, which I imported here. This is an inbuilt function. There is no need to install it. Yeah. So I get the extension of what I want. So now, because I want to save this image, so I have the file name. I also have the unique file ID that we got from Telegram here. This part doesn't really matter what you call it. You could have easily made like a random generator for this, and then the file extension. So to do that, once I now have the file, I want to be able to write it to my local. So yeah, I write it to my local. And then what I want to do with it, I want to write what we got. I want to write what we got from Telegram and save it to my local storage and now work on it. Now, because after this point, the image is supposed to be saved on the directory I'm currently working on, I can now use the get text read that we used, that we were able to go through from here. So I just pass this function, the file that I've gotten from Telegram, and then it does the whole process that we went through. And then from there, it gives us back our results as a list, because we returned our results as a list, which we are appending every line. Yeah. So from there, the results that we get are now in a list, like the words that are in that specific image. So if we have any words from that specific image, our length will be greater than 0. And now for that, I just tell the user, thank you for your patience, and this is what I got from that specific file that you sent me. If the API did not find anything to extract, that means maybe you just uploaded an image, but it didn't necessarily have words. So I tell the user, unfortunately, this image does not contain any text. So yeah, so some things to note if you are to host this and so many people are using your, excuse me, if so many people are using your Telegram bot, that means every time somebody uploads a photo, regardless of whether it has text or not, it will be saved on your server. For my case, it will be my local host, my local machine. That means that keep accumulating. And because of that, I want immediately this process is done, I want to like delete that file from my system to just make sure I'm not consuming too many resources. Yeah, so let's test this out. I have to kill this again. Killed everything. Oh yeah, no. So I have to set my environment, set Flask, and then run the Flask. Yeah, so going back to Telegram now, make sure we're still using this, say demo time, and then we can upload now. So something to note, when I was covering the Telegram bit, I did not cover how to do this for PDFs because the message would definitely be different. Here, you will be having to process it as document. So I'd like to challenge you to take this code. I'll send you the link for my GitHub and change this from photo that it should accept either photos and documents because you already have the logic for the read API takes in either, it doesn't matter. So yeah, it's working. And for the handwritten text, yeah. So if we were to upload the PDF, it would not work because we've not covered, we've not we've not on our code, we've not said that if this is a document, please also process it. So that's the challenge I'm giving everybody, to go and modify this code. And that's pretty much it. So maybe perhaps in my next event, I would cover how to go from here and also host it. The current bot that I was using, I had hosted on Heroku, but this can easily be done on Azure. So maybe that's what I can focus on next time. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So unless there are questions, you can ask questions in the QA if there are any questions. Let me also open there. Yeah, you can also ask questions on the chat if you have any questions. And thank you guys so much for coming. I didn't even expect like this would get more than 5 people, honestly. Unless there are any questions, I'd like to end there. So the code, let me send you the code. Yeah, you can find the full code on GitHub. I've sent the link. So unless any questions, I'd like to wrap this up. I can see someone is typing. I've also enabled the mic. I've also enabled like you guys turning on your mics if you want to ask a question.
Hi,
So
hi.
William.
Let me ask
Oh
you
yeah,
a
hi, I
question.
can hear you now.
Okay, I want to know if you have recorded your event.
Sorry?
Did you make a record?
Yeah, I did record. Well, but I think I was like half explaining to this part.
Okay, I think it will be happy to share the link in the group because I was late, but I'm very interested to see and to watch your record and to learn more about the bot you have built.
Okay, I'll do that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you, and thank you so much for your event. It look very well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So
Where
William
did
is
you
asking, sorry?
Where do you study?
So I'm currently working. I just finished my uni. I'm currently working in a company as a data engineer. I get to do software engineering and data science at the same time. Well, not at the same time, but I'm able to build data science products that can be, and I'm also the person who makes sure that you can go from the model and work with that model in a system, because most data scientists, after they've done the whole project on the Jupyter notebook, that's it. A software engineer has to come in. So now, because I started my career initially as a software dev, I'm able to like weave those two skills together.
Thank you.
Yeah, so William, are you able to like unmute and ask your question? Asking something about the code.
Yes, I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh yeah, I can.
Right on the, where is it? So somewhere you specify photo .pdf. I don't know if you remember that. Should be at the top of this. Yes, the file ID is equals to. You see this?
Oh
It's
yeah.
.photo
Here.
.photo -1. Now this -1, is it part of the code or you have to type it yourself?
So what Telegram does, it stores, I think, three, if I'm not wrong, three kinds of images. Once you upload an image, it compresses it to like certain levels. So I wanted to have like the highest resolution possible of that image. So the way this is stored on Telegram, so the same file that the user uploaded. So Telegram stored a very low resolution and a medium one and a very high res image. So I wanted the very last 1 on that array. And to get to the last one, I was just using -1. Like if you have an array, this is index 0, 1, 2. So instead of me just saying 2, when you say -1, you're just saying, just give me the last thing on this specific array. I don't know if that's clear.
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you.
So yeah, in that array of photos stored on Telegram, the last one is usually very high resolution. So if you just put this as 0, for example, you get the first one, which is like so bad, even the model itself cannot decode what's going on. That's why I decided to use the last one.
And then on something else, you posted a form on the chat.
Oh yeah.
But permission is not granted.
I didn't grant permissions. What is it saying?
It says you don't have permission to view or respond to this form.
Oh, and oh yeah, sorry. I think maybe I should change that. Let me see if I can change that. Sorry, I hadn't tested it on my own personal email. Yeah, I think I've allowed for everyone. Maybe you can test it out again.
Yes, it's working. Thank you.
So Albert, if you'd like a recording for this session, please fill out that form. I will send it to you after the session.
You say you have sent me the link?
I've sent the link in the chat. I'm saying if you fill that form, there's a section I'm asking for your email if you'd like a recording of this session, and I will send you the link.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you guys for coming. This is my first session. I'm hoping to host more. And thank you guys for coming. This means a lot to me. Yeah. So I'll see you in the next one. Unless there's any other question, I think we have run out of time.
No, we still have 3 minutes, but thank you very much.
There's somebody joining now when we are done. Okay. Have a good evening, everybody.
You too have a good one.